Learn what is to be taken seriously and laugh at the rest. If you hate a person, you hate something in him that is part of yourself. What isn't part of ourselves doesn't disturb us. It is not for me to judge another man's life. I must judge, I must choose, I must spurn, purely for myself. For myself, alone. If I know what love is, it is because of you. Some of us think holding on makes us strong, but sometimes it is letting go. I live in my dreams, that's what you sense. Other people live in dreams, but not in their own. That's the difference. We are not going in circles, we are going upwards. The path is a spiral. We have already climbed many steps. You are willing to die, you coward, but not to live. What could I say to you that would be of value, except that perhaps you seek too much, that as a result of your seeking you cannot find. Oh, love isn't there to make us happy. I believe it exists to show us how much we can endure. Often it is the most deserving people who cannot help loving those who destroy them. I will no longer mutilate and destroy myself in order to find a secret behind the ruins. When you like someone, you like them in spite of their faults. When you love someone, you love them with their faults. People with courage and character always seem sinister to the rest. Your soul is the whole world. In eternity there is no time, only an instant long enough for a joke. Youth ends when egotism does. Maturity begins when one lives for others. My real self wanders elsewhere, far away, wanders on and on invisibly and has nothing to do with my life. Perhaps people like us cannot love. Ordinary people can, that is their secret. I wanted only to live in accord with the promptings which came from my true self. Why was that so very difficult? Gentleness is stronger than severity, water is stronger than rock, love is stronger than force. You've never lived what you are thinking, and that isn't good. Only the ideas we actually live are of any value. I can think. I can wait. I can fast. I have always thirsted for knowledge. I have always been full of questions. Good that you ask. You should always ask, always have doubts. I realize today that nothing in the world is more distasteful to a man than to take the path that leads to himself. Opinions mean nothing. They may be beautiful or ugly, clever or foolish. Anyone can embrace or reject them. When dealing with the insane, the best method is to pretend to be sane. The river is everywhere. One must find the source within one's own self. One must possess it. Everything else was seeking, a detour, an error. Not in his speech, not in his thoughts. I see his greatness, only in his actions, in his life. It is not our purpose to become each other. It is to recognize each other, to learn to see the other and honor him for what he is. Within you, there is a stillness and a sanctuary to which you can retreat at any time and be yourself. There are always a few such people who demand the utmost of life and yet cannot come to terms with its stupidity and crudeness. You are only afraid if you are not in harmony with yourself. No permanence is ours. We are a wave dot that flows to fit whatever form it finds. And here is a doctrine at which you will laugh. It seems to me, Govinda, that love is the most important thing in the world. How foolish it is to wear oneself out in vain longing for warmth. Solitude is independence. One can beg, buy, be presented with and find love in the streets, but it can never be stolen. But it's a poor fellow who can't take his pleasure without asking other people's permission. I do want more. I am not content with being happy. I was not made for it. It is not my destiny. My destiny is the opposite. For the first time in my life I tasted death, and death tasted bitter, for death is birth, is fear and dread of some terrible renewal. And the vessel was not full, his intellect was not satisfied, his soul was not at peace, his heart was not still. Writing is good, thinking is better. Cleverness is good, patience is better. A wild longing for strong emotions and sensations seethes in me, a rage against this toneless, flat, normal and sterile life. For you know that soft is stronger than hard, water stronger than rock, love stronger than force. Vasudeva to Siddhartha. If you need something desperately and find it, this is not an accident. Your own craving and compulsion leads you to it. Now true humor begins when a man ceases to take himself seriously. The bourgeois prefers comfort to pleasure, convenience to liberty, and a pleasant temperature to the deathly inner-consuming fire. Our God's name is Abraxas, and he is God and Satan, and he contains both the luminous and the dark world. The opposite of every truth is just as true. Madness, in a higher sense, is the beginning of all wisdom. I am much inclined to live from my rucksack, and let my trousers fray as they like. Love can be begged, bought, or received as a gift. One can find it in the street, but one cannot steal it. He had loved and he had found himself. Most people love to lose themselves. Life is always frightful. We cannot help it and we are responsible all the same. One's born and at once one is guilty. In fear I hurried this way and that. I had the taste of blood and chocolate in my mouth, the one as hateful as the other. Siddhartha stopped fighting his fate this very hour, and he stopped suffering. As a body everyone is single, as a soul never. The cup was emptied and would never be filled again. 1,000 times I was ready to regret and take back my rash statement, yet it had been the truth. I felt knowledge and the unity of the world circulate in me like my own blood. It is possible for one never to transgress a single law and still be a bastard. Our friendship has no other purpose, no other reason, than to show you how utterly unlike me you are. A person is never entirely holy or entirely sinful. I hope death will be a great happiness, a happiness as great as that of love, fulfilled love. You show the world as a complete, unbroken chain, an eternal chain, linked together by cause and effect. Happiness is a how, not a what. A talent, not an object. You have to try the impossible to achieve the possible.